Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Rock Pile here. Tonight, the Rock Pile brings you a special edition of the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. Different day and time. Tonight, I wanted to get Coach Cowell on tonight before their big regional game this weekend, so I'm excited to talk to her. I got a lot of good stuff for her tonight. I went back and actually watched. I spoke to Coach back in mid-April, so I went back to watch that interview this week, and I got a lot of stuff to bring up from that interview. But I'm really excited to talk to her. And what a great story this RFA team has been this year. And Coach has done a fantastic job in her first year with this group. So I'm excited to talk to her. If you're watching on Facebook, you're watching on YouTube, any of the social media channels, if you have any questions for Coach and you put them in the comment box, I'll try to bring over some questions tonight, as many as I can. Follow me on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. All the stuff will be played back so you can make sure you don't miss anything from tonight's show. So without further ado, let me bring Coach on. Coach, let me just switch us up here. And there we go. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I went back to our last interview. You and I spoke on April 13th, and you were pretty much just getting off the bus from you played the game against Shenandoah and Guilderland. And I went back and I watched it. And some of the stuff on there, I got to tell you, you were pretty spot on for what you said then to where you are today. And there's a few things I said. I said to you, and I'm looking at my notes, I said, what are some things this team needs to do to win sectionals? And you said, knowing they can win, expect to win, play with a chip on their shoulder, believe they belong, and gain confidence. And I got to tell you, Coach, I don't know you, but I followed you guys this season. And they take after the personality of you.
I appreciate that. I mean, no matter what, I feel like a team is always following the personality and the expectations of their coach, and that's the job of the coach, isn't it? You know what I mean? But it's not just me. Like my assistant coach, Mark Beer, he's known these kids since they were little tykes in elementary school, and he's been coaching them a long time too. It's both of us. It's the community. It's their parents. It's their travel ball coaches. They were built for this moment. And when I was talking to you about it back in April, it wasn't just a guess. We knew what we had to do, and we went out and did it. And I am so extremely honored to have been part of the journey and the ones to help them walk across the finish line so far.
I know you were really confident too, because when I was talking to you about this team, and I always joke with Coach Snyder, who's the Notre Dame girls basketball coach, and I tell him every year, I'm like, if you have any assistant coaching spots open, I'd love to come on, because every year these teams get younger and younger, and they're really good. And you talked about your roster, and you said you really just can't screw this thing up, and you can really plug and play. Girls, the lineup from top to bottom is real good. But talk to us a little bit about, because you do have a lot of young kids that played for you this year, and you had some kids step up too.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of young kids that have really stood out. Obviously, freshman Amelia Samansky in the circle. I mean, she was my one and only ace on JV. No offense to a junior that's also on the team this year, Emma Lopez. She was our backup pitcher just in case last year on JV. But the way that she's been able to step up to this next level and throw the ball really well, we on defense, we follow her lead. And we always try to have her back in the batter's box and try and score her some runs, because we know how hard she's working and how well she's throwing the ball. Besides that, I would also have to mention sophomore Sage Pelton. This is her third year on varsity, and she's really stepped up a lot. She's matured a lot. And actually, she's been put in some different positions. Like, she was a third baseman mainly for Coach Klaczynski the last couple years. And with the obvious addition of Haley Bostwick in our infield, it's kind of been a domino effect with where some of the other girls are placed. And Sage has kind of earned a spot over at second base and has played very well for us over there. And she's kind of owning it. And then also Gianna Greer. She's another one. She was on her first year of varsity last year. Saw the field a little bit last year. Was put in some big situations last year, but she went out and earned a spot this year. She had to work. She had to battle with some other kids, And in the end, she got the confidence and she started doing some really great stuff in the hitting lineup, and it earned her spot. And I always kind of joke with her a little bit because Gianna has always had a love for the infield. She loves being a middle infielder. She loves getting ground balls and being in the action in the infield. And she actually earned a spot in the outfield this year because of her speed and her ability to move side to side and go after some balls. And one thing that I've had to help coach her with is that a starting spot is a starting spot. You know what I mean? Like go own it and be proud of what you've been able to accomplish. And I know that from experience. When I was a freshman in college, I had never played the outfield or any other position besides third base and shortstop. And my freshman year in college, I ended up being a catcher because our one and only catcher ended up dropping out. And then after that, my sophomore year, I ended up being a starting right fielder. You just own the spot. You just go out and play. And it, in my opinion, and this is something that I've tried to say to all my kids, it gives you a new respect for the game when you're able to play a bunch of different positions. So,
Coach,
those are three youngest players, and they've really stepped up, and I'm proud of them.
one thing I remember talking with you about back in April was I really liked the confidence in your voice. And as a coach, you got to be confident. I'm the same way. There wasn't a game on the schedule that I didn't think we could win. We might have been
Mm-hmm.
outnumbered against some teams, but that attitude and personality is contagious with your players. And I think right now, from when we talked in April, you told me you really learned something about this team after those two games against Guilderland and Shen. What have you learned the most about your team? Here you are coming off a Section 3 title, and then now you head into the regionals. Take me back to April. You got off that bus. What have you learned about this team at this point in the season?
The most important thing that I've learned about this team is that we're not just talk. Like we walk the walk, we believe what we say, and we band together no matter what the situation is. Something that I always harp with every single team that I coach. And no matter what sport, no matter what level, it's the life lesson of there's always two things that you can control. And if any of my girls right now are watching, they're rolling their eyes going, "Oh, here we go again." Right? They've heard me say this a million times, but you don't really get it until you get it. But the two things that you can always control is attitude and effort. You can be down 4 runs, 5 runs, and going into the top of the 7th when you just traveled to Syracuse, when we went to go play West Jenny in terrible weather, really, really difficult field conditions. Wink, wink, but the umpires weren't on our side either. And we're down. And you know what? We banded together and we ended up coming away with a 9-7 win. We're never out. It doesn't matter the score. We just play hard. And it just, you just feel good about your team when you can step into battle even when you're down and you just keep playing hard. We all want to put the team on our back and we all want to just try our best and grind it out. Nobody's scared to play. And that's huge, not playing with any fear.
And Coach, we talked about the TVL, and I know you said the TVL was going to be really good this year. And again, that statement couldn't be more true. I mean, Whitesboro finished 13-2. New Hartford won 13 games. Camden won 16 games. Notre Dame won 11 games, and here you guys are too. Talk to us.
Yeah.
I mean, that TVL was brutal from start to finish.
Yeah, I really love and appreciate how competitive our league is. Coming from somebody that played and coached at Herkimer College, we would kind of beat up on some teams in our conference, and then we'd have to suddenly turn it on when we got to regional play. And when you're challenged all season long, it just sets you up and it just builds, you get to experience some things and you get to kind of learn what kind of team you are. And you're not shocked when it comes to postseason play and end of season play. Like, how amazing is it that we got all these TVL teams, section champions? We got TVL teams that, I mean, wow. And how awesome is it for our local area? We're producing a lot of amazing athletes. And listen, all you college coaches out there, come see us play. Come to Utica, Whitesboro, Rome. Come see us play because we have excellent athletes here in the Mohawk Valley. It's not just in Syracuse. It's not just in Rochester. It's not just in Section 2 Albany. Come see us play because we can play.
Yeah, amen. I say that about all sports. We have a lot of good talent in this area, across the entire Mohawk Valley. So I agree with you, Coach. The other thing is, Coach, confidence. I mean, winning's contagious, right? I mean, your team right now has that swag to them, and as you said, your team's never down and out. You get behind, your team finds a way to rally together and come back, and you've been ahead where you've stayed ahead. You've been behind where you've come back. How much confidence right now does this team have going into the weekend?
You know what? We going into this weekend, I feel like we have maintained the same. And I mean that in the best way possible. We're not making the moment too big. We're not getting too rallied up because, especially when it comes to postseason play, it's about what team shows up and what team gets over the hype. Because if you start hyping something up, you start playing a little bit tighter, you start making mistakes. If you just show up and do what you've been doing all season and trust the process and trust your fundamentals and trust your routines, then you're going to show up and play. And that's just something that we've maintained that all season long. And in times where we haven't, we've had to learn our lesson. So we sit back, we trust everything that we've done so far, and we're just going to keep doing that this weekend.
How fun is your team having? I saw the little pie action in your face last night, and or a
Yeah,
couple nights
actually,
ago.
I
I saw
think I
that.
still got a little bit of whipped cream in my eye.
I was like, she's
uh,
got to take the shades off. Like she's got to get those sunglasses off. But how
they
fun's
were
your
my
team having?
so much fun. How about this? I'll tell you this funny story. So we're at OCC for the semifinals, and we're about ready to play Fayetteville Manlius. And we've been so hungry for this game since the last time. This is our third time playing them this season. And you know what? When you see a team three times, you just get a little extra hungry for that game.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm walking around, chatting with the girls, and I actually brought our game ball from the first ever game that we played this season. My first game as a varsity coach and our first win of the season. It was at home against FM. And I had all the girls sign it because I'm really sentimental like that. And I keep I keep game balls like left and
Yep.
right. But I walked through while they were all playing catch, and I said touch the ball because it's got good vibes on it, and everybody's touching, they're still throwing and whatnot. And I have a couple girls come up to me and go, Coach, I got it. And they touched it and they went like this and they held it a little while longer. They're all wearing temporary tattoos of my ugly face on their arm.
That's awesome, though. You got to have some
So
team time. You got to
funny.
have some laughs, right? It's
Yeah,
a long season. Got to
I
have some
love it.
laughs.
Yeah, man, I absolutely love it. I mean, it's just who we are, and I wouldn't change them for the world. I love how they bust my chops. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Sometimes I'll be trying to say something really serious, and then I'll accidentally say something silly, and they never let me get away with it, which is great. I mean, I just love the chemistry of our team.
So, Coach, I asked you about pitching too, and after that April bus trip there when you got back, and you
Yeah,
said you had three pitchers, and I think you said Madison Saffin was like the Greg Maddux. She doesn't throw hard,
yeah,
but she hits her spots. And then you had Soph Tossie that throws really hard, and then you got this freshman Amelia who's unbelievable, and she's only a freshman. Talk to us about this pitching staff that's really got you through the season.
yeah. I mean, obviously, I think, gosh, I'm such a sucker sometimes. I want every kid to play all game. You know what I mean? It's really tough to make these decisions sometimes about who goes in the circle and who doesn't and where else they're playing. And I want to get every kid in the game. But overall, I'm so pleased with how each and every one of those girls have played and thrown. And, I said it back in April, and I'll say it again that, these three are excellent pitchers and they all provide something different, and it's all based on who we're facing. I think Amelia has proved this season that she is as good as we expect her to be. And especially something with her style. Hitters have a really hard time picking up the ball with her pitching style. The way that she releases the ball, the way that she loads up when she's ready to pitch. And she's proven that. I mean, you look back at her ERA, you look back just simply on how many walks she's had. She averages, I think, maybe only 2 walks a game, 6 or something like that a game. That's really well, especially as a freshman. Goodness. And same thing with Soph and Maddie. If Amelia isn't throwing or they're starting to time her up or anything, we know that we can go to either one of those two right away And the choice of who goes in the circle kind of depends on who we need in the infield. Sometimes Maddie, we need
Mhm.
to keep her in the infield because we need to have her in that spot or whatever. Or sometimes we know that the hitter's style that we've seen so far, we know that they're not going to be able to catch up to Soph's fastball, you know. Um, and actually, speaking of pitchers, we actually brought up a JV player, seventh grader, Wendy
Yep.
Rena.
I was just gonna bring it
Um,
up. Yep.
Yep. So, and I'll tell you what, Coach Beer and I have looked at each other a few times, and we didn't bring her up by accident. She deserves to be with us. She's thrown an incredible JV season. I mean, my goodness, I think the lowest amount of strikeouts she had in a game in JV was maybe like 13 or 14. That's,
Wow.
one or two every single inning. The girl
Yep.
throws strikes. She throws really well. She hits her spots. She's got a great changeup. She does good stuff. And she might only be 12, 13 years old, but she plays like she's been there. And she deserves to be with us. And we're not afraid to put her in the circle if we need to.
Yeah, I mean, that's great signs for the future. You got some young talent coming up, which is great. The program's and going in a great
In good shape.
direction. It's in great
Yeah.
shape. So,
Yep.
I want you to talk a little bit about, your top 3, 4 hitters, and your lineup is solid top to bottom. But I just want you to talk to me a little bit about Kennedy Campbell and what she brings to your table, and then Michaela Howard too. But for again, top to bottom, Haley Boswick this year, who, didn't play much last year, but Madison's right there, but they're all juniors.
Yeah, man, we're very junior heavy. It's very exciting. Obviously, knowing what we've been able to accomplish this year, they're all coming back next year as seniors, and they have that experience. They have that chip on their shoulder as a senior. Um, they've all produced extremely well for us. I mean, let's talk about Kennedy Campbell. That kid is a thorn in the other team's side. She's a great leadoff hitter. She gets on base, and she is a very good base runner. Running bases is just as important as pitching, catching, hitting, fielding. Running bases, you have to score runs to win games, right? So having her as a leadoff, if she can get on base, we know that we're going to score a run in that first inning. So that's really good. Michaela Howard, obviously, the girl just gets up, she hits for power. We know she's going to hit it to the green. And obviously, with Kennedy and Lex and Maddie in front of her, sometimes Haley Bostwick in front of her too. We got good speed on the bases. We got a chance to score some runs. Same thing, Haley Bostwick. How about that sectional finals? And she hits the team's very first over the fence home run. Well, the very first home run. We hit the ball hard, but we haven't gotten one over the fence yet. She hits the team's very first one, and that was so exciting. And it's not for a lack of hitting the ball hard. I mean, if you look at our field is huge. I bet if we had a 200-foot fence, we would have had more at our field. But yeah, that's awesome. Maddie Safe, and something I love to talk about with Maddie is a lot of times she's up to bat with runners in scoring position, and I wish there was a way to actually go back and tabulate, but a lot of her RBIs are game-winning RBIs. And we don't really realize it at the time because it may have only been the third or fourth inning, but there are a lot of game-winning RBIs. The girl is a gap-to-gap hitter. She puts the ball in play really well. And also in her position, I've had to bunt her many times. And the team's backing up because they know that she can hit. And when she lays down a bunt, she does a real good job for the team. Sometimes you got to manufacture runs. And for her to be able to sacrifice her at bat to help us do that, that's huge.
Coach, I can tell, and I always ask this question the coaches that come on, like, when you got a special group of kids, when the season starts. And I know you were so confident from the beginning, and it's great to see where this team is today. But I can see in your face, you're really proud of this team. I mean, it's
So
all over
proud.
your face how passionate you are. I absolutely love it. But how proud are of this team? I
I'm
can see
so
it all
proud.
over you. It's awesome.
So proud. I said to these kids, it's the only thing I could say to them in the pregame speech of both the semifinals and the finals of sectionals that I get emotional. That these girls they've already set the precedence and they've already left their legacy. That from this moment on, every future team that I coach, they're going to have to measure up to the bar of this team. You know, not just skill wise on the field, but their personality, their confidence, um, their character. These are good kids.
Yeah, yeah, I think you hit it on the button. I mean, the bar's set so high that every year now it's like you gotta beat Rome. You know, Rome's not
Yeah.
just gonna lay down and you gotta come and you gotta bring your A game to beat Rome. Talk to us a little bit about the finals because I gotta be honest with you, when I saw the bracket come out, I really liked our chances. I'm like, "We got a shot." I mean, this is a pretty good
Yeah.
bracket, and then CNS actually, the top seed loses to Beeville, and Beeville was playing really good, coming into the finals. I mean, obviously, you guys were playing really well too. You guys jumped out right out of the gate. I think it was 4-0 through 3 innings, and Amelia went, I think, 6, and then Soph came in and closed the door, but you guys got off to a really good start.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I keep saying to everybody that our mentality is that it doesn't matter who's standing in the other dugout, as long as we show up and play our best game. I don't know if anybody's gonna beat us. Like, if every single one of us plays our best game. And you know what? Even in the sectional finals, we've got a couple errors. We still didn't play our best game. And that just goes to show, like, we still were able to win. We put the ball in play really well. We moved base runners really well. Haley hits one over the fence. We get excited for that. Even though we didn't play our best game, we still go up 7-1 against an awesome Beeville team, someone that has consistently
Yeah.
given us a loss at the end of the season these past couple years. And the fact that we were able to overcome that mentally was huge. Even if it was CNS on the other side, I think the chip on our shoulder would have stayed. And especially, I think, to be honest with you, I'm thinking back actually to the Liverpool game mid-season. That was huge for us at home. To win that game, we knew at that moment that it was our time.
So I got to put this comment up here, Anthony.
Go
I
ahead.
know Anthony. Thanks for tuning in. He said Syracuse.com said 6-3 final is what they
What?
predicted. They predicted you guys to actually lose on Syracuse.com when they did all their predictions. They picked Beeville to win that game. You
Never
pull
count
over
us out.
another
I
one.
told you. I told you, even when we were behind, never count us out. We're not done.
Gary says, get up, dress up, and show up. I like that one.
Yep.
I like that one,
Yep.
Gary.
Yep.
So let's
Just put the
fast
cleats
forward.
on and play.
That's right. So first sectional title in 32 years. And I was trying to go back and say 32 years. How old was I when that happened? But what did that mean to you guys? Did you know it had been that long going into that game?
I knew it had been a long time. Actually, it's funny because Coach Beer back in February, I think, maybe even March, just before we started tryouts, he pulled the girls in and we're at RFA in the main gym. And hey, thanks, by the way. I just saw a comment. Congrats, Coach. Thank you. He looked up at the wall at the banner, and I think there was only like 1 year on it, 1988 or 87, whatever it was. And he said, girls, that's going to say 2025. If everybody does what they're supposed to do, that's your year is going up there. And we've been talking about this for a long time. And that's just where the belief came from. And we knew that we had a whole community behind us. Our parents, coaches of other sports, our athletic director, our administration, our school board, our superintendent, everybody's been behind us this whole time. And it means a lot.
I'll tell you one of the cool things. So my daughter's only 9. She's a little thing, but she's really fast. So Coach Jerry and Coach Beer said to me, Mark said it to me last night. You got to flip her over to the left side and teach her how to slap because she can fly. So I said, you're gonna have to help me with that because I don't know how to teach softball. I played baseball, but not
We
obviously
got
not
you.
softball. But it was really cool because I was up there last night and I'm watching these little girls play, and my daughter, who's really competitive, they lost last night, so she was really pissed off after the end of the game. But I remember coming to the game, and my daughter had said, "Is this where the RFA team? Is this where they play at the varsity girls?" And it's like, yeah. And she goes, "Hopefully one day I can play on that field, Dad." And I'm like, you know what, Madison, honey, they just won the title. She goes, they won the national championship. I said, you could say that for high school, honey, but college is the national championship. But what I wanted to ask you though, how nice is it though? You see these little girls and running around saying this is the future, of your program as they get older.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our sport is growing. I mean, look at what just happened last night. It's game one of the Women's College World Series, and we just broke a record for viewership. Women's
Yep.
sports is growing exponentially, and it is showing at our level as well. You can see our first couple of games of the season, we had our usual parents and usual fans come in, and then we started winning games, and all of a sudden the all of Cost Field is packed when we play. And it just goes to show that what we do on the field, what we do off the field, it it's a legacy. And what we do today is going to impact and affect those young kids. A lot of my girls actually spend some time with the youth program and Rome Girls Softball. I got a couple kids that actually have umpired some games already, which is pretty cool. Um, and when we go out and we help coach some of those younger kids, and um, you know, it's a community, and it starts at that young level. And actually, I have my varsity kids as much as they can, make sure that they always go and cheer on the modified team, and cheer on the JV team as best they can. And we got to pay it forward, because if you don't, then you're not building the program.
So Sarah says we need to bring the 87 plaque up to Cost from Stevensfield.
Yeah, I
Interesting. Is that
actually
where it's
just
at?
yeah, I just learned that the other day, actually, that the plaque is at Stevensfield. I haven't gone over there to look yet, but that's on my to-do list. But let me
You know
finish the
what? I
season first.
forget because my sister played softball for Coach Jerry Table and Coach Sanborn, who was the varsity coach here many years ago, and they played at Stevensfield
Oh yeah.
for their games. Yeah, I when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's where they used to play at. Do you think how much of and I agree, the women's game has gotten so big. I was watching it last night, and Anthony says it wasn't obstruction. I agree. It was not. I didn't think either. But again, I don't know the rules like you guys do.
Yeah.
How much of the Caitlin Clark thing you think is really impacted not just women's basketball, but just women's sports in general?
Oh, absolutely. It's gosh, she's just been a catalyst for us. Um, and I feel she's done it in a very classy way. I feel she's done it to always look to help improve and be positive, and you know, it has shown that people care about women's sports.
Hmm.
And everybody needs to watch and look out. And softball, especially softball, is huge. The game is quick. It's exciting. I don't want to be a knock on baseball or anything, because I'm a baseball lover, but baseball and softball are very different, and the speed of the game of baseball really helps improve the viewership. It's a little bit, it's really exciting to watch because of that. So I'm a lover of the game of softball because of that reason, and I think that's definitely helping with the viewership. But definitely, Caitlin Clark has been the catalyst to just kind of open people's eyes, and
Yeah.
we're all really appreciative of that.
So, Coach, take us to now preview Lancaster, right? Section 5?
6.
6. Okay, section 6, as they beat what? Was it Rush Henrietta?
Yep.
Yeah. So take us through, how much do we know about them? Give
Lancaster's
us
a
the
good
stat.
team. Yeah, Lancaster's a good team. They definitely hit the ball around the ballpark really well. We're gonna have to play really good defense. Our pitchers are gonna have to hit their spots. We can't leave anything leave anything over the plate for them, because they're gonna knock it around. And bottom line, we just gotta score more runs than they do. Not to keep it too simple, but that's just it. We gotta put the ball in play, and try and make them run around, and make sure that the pressure on them is just as much as the pressure on us.
Just say at this point, everybody's good, right? You don't really have
Yeah,
film and stuff to really watch. You got to go out and do the little things, right? You got to put the ball
yeah,
in play. You got to play solid defense. You got to pitch. You got to get outs,
yeah.
and all that. Turf field or grass?
Turf field, turf.
Turf field. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it was turf or grass, and I know a lot of the people in Rome were talking about the scheduling piece, and I've been there before, and a lot of the Rome people were so upset because it's the senior ball. We had it when I played, when we made it to the state final four. Luckily, we had gotten back, but again, that's nothing with Rome. I know Coach Carey. I would say Aaron Carey worked really hard, with the state to try to make this thing happen for the girls to get back. But night game, long day for the team, bus ride out there. Did you have any preference of time? Would you have rather played earlier or played a later game?
Uh, with Are you talking about still with senior ball or just
Yeah,
putting senior ball
just in
aside?
general. Yeah, putting that aside.
Oh, putting that aside, a late game is fine by me because, my kids still get to have a good night's sleep and not have to worry about waking up at the crack of dawn to get on a bus. Um, you know, to be honest with you, all that stuff's out of my control, so it's
Yep.
hard to have an opinion on it. I mean, if I did have an opinion, I would really appreciate it if Section 6 gave us the grace. They
Yep.
they made the mistake and we're suffering for it, but it is what it is. We're gonna put our cleats on and we're gonna go out and play hard anyway.
So, Coach, who does the winner of your game play, and then when would that game be?
So winner of this game is going to be playing on Friday, June 13th, and that is the state semifinals. And we actually just got the result. Corning beat Middletown today, 6-0. So it's going to end up being Corning, and that is going to be at Greenlight Grand Slam Park in Binghamton, the
Oh,
former
okay.
Bags Eye. They've renovated those fields. It's a beautiful complex. So yeah, Corning won today, and they've made it to the state semifinals. So it's state semifinals on the 13th, and then if you win, you make it to Saturday state finals.
So, last question I have for you, and I know what your
Sure.
answer is going to be. You're going to keep it simple, but what's this team have to do to win on Saturday and keep playing?
Overcome the adversity because we will be challenged on Saturday like we have not been challenged yet. So overcome the adversity, and it's what we've been doing all season. We need to stay together. We need to believe that we can do it. And when we see the adversity, reset and make the next play.
Got the lineup made already, or do you superstition and make it on the way out there? Or you already got it made up. And if you do,
I
how
got
many times is it going to change?
I got some pencil marks in my brain. That's all I'll say.
That's the answer that I was somehow I knew you were going to say that. But well,
Yeah.
listen, Coach, we're behind you. I'm so proud of you and the team, and it's
Thank you
great.
so much.
Hopefully, you guys keep this thing going and then win Saturday, and you and I will do this thing again next week.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. Good luck, Coach. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. I appreciate everybody. Go Rome.
Go Rome. Thank you. Love talking to Coach. Let me fix my screen here. There we go. Love talking to her. She brings a ton of energy to the table, and I went back and as I always do, I go back and watch a lot of my past interviews, and I was looking at some of the notes, and I'm like, everything she said back on April 14th when this team got off the bus from playing Shenandoah and Guilderland was basically spot on. Everything that she said, and at that time, I was ready to run through a wall for her, and even just now listening to her, I got goosebumps on some of the things that she said, but so proud of her, so proud of this team, and, I'm excited to, no matter the outcome, this has been a fantastic season for coaching the girls, and I'm hoping they continue with this journey and get a chance to play in the state Final Four and beyond that. I'm hoping I get a chance to talk to Coach again next week, but, I wanna make sure that I thank her for coming on with me here tonight. And thanks for everybody that tuned in to listen here tonight. I know it was an off night for the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch, but I wanted to get her on live before the game on Saturday. I didn't want to talk to her the day after, win or lose. I wanted to get her thoughts on the season and prior to. So I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight to the Mohawk Valley Sports Watch. As Coach says, go Rome, girls.